Welcome so much to this lesson. We're going to discuss mathematics paper 1, which comprises of mostly form 2 and form 1 work. And this time around, we're going to focus on a form 2 paper, mathematics. So I hope that you guys shall benefit from this particular program. Remember to subscribe to the channel. Remember to share with friends. Our consultation line 0704 153366 that way. So reach out for revision materials, for consultations, and even for extra programs. Section 1, 50 marks. Actually, this is what we're going to cover in this live lesson. Remember to comment. Remember to invite a friend. Tell us where you're watching us from. Let's know whether you are getting something from this platform. Number 1, without using a calculator or a math table, evaluate half of 2/5 divided by 3 out of 15 plus 7/10 multiplied by 6/7, then into brackets 1.5 multiplied by 1/3 divided by 5 out of 3 multiplied by 6/10 divided by 5/4 minus 1/4. These are fractions, and we're supposed to apply the acronym which guides us into carry out operations successively. So we use the board mass, whereby we work out brackets first, then work out off, which means product, then work out division, multiplication, and finally addition and subtraction. So let's operate the numerator first. What is on the numerator? Do we have brackets in the numerator? Yes. Do we have off? Yes. So we begin by what is in the brackets. So from within the brackets, we can see there is 1.5, which can translate to 3/2, then multiplied by 1/3. So inside that bracket, we can simplify to half. Therefore, the numerator becomes half of 2/5 divided by 3/15 plus 7/10 multiplied by 6/7. Then in the brackets, we are having half. It's good for you to notice that we can still open the bracket now further by saying half of 2/5 divided by 3/15 plus 7/10 multiplied by 6/10. To open the bracket, we just multiply. So by half, and that becomes 3/7, because the 2 now can cancel with 6. So 3/7 that way. So this is what we are having. The next thing we shall do is off. Off means multiplication. So half of 2/5 means half. This means half multiplied by 2/5, which can lead to 1/5. So this will be 1/5 divided by 3/15 plus 7/10 multiplied by 3/7. At this point, because we are done with brackets and off, the next thing shall be division. You know, when we are dividing 1/5 by 3/15, that can mean multiplying by the reciprocal that way. Then we have plus 7/10, 3/7. So we can work out this side, then this side, and add. This is going to be 3/45. Not really. I think a 3 can simplify. Then this becomes 5. So 1/25. 1/15, that is. So when we simplify 15 by 3, we're getting a 5, yeah? We're getting a 5. Therefore, we should talk about 1/25. 1 over 25. Then on the other side, we can have 7 cancelling, so that we have 3 out of 10. See that? So we are having we are supposed now to add this. We're supposed to add, and I'm supposed to confirm whether this multiplication is done in the right way. Let's check whether we are doing it in the right way. There's this step. Let me change my color for you to see what we are talking about. At that stage, it's good for you to know that 1 over 5 divided by 3 over 15 means multiplying by the reciprocal that way. So I think that is what we did in Trudate. Then we should add 7 over 10 by 3 over 7 that way. So this one becomes 15 out of 15, which is 1. Then plus 3 over 10, which is 1 and 3 over 10. So from the numerator, we are getting 1 and 3 over 10. This step is supposed to be ignored now. This was an error. I'm sorry for that. Yeah, there's an error that we've made there. Okay. Now we go to the denominator now. Let's check at the denominator. Because we don't have brackets, we don't have off, then we can talk about division first. So 5 over 3, then multiplied by 6 over 10. You see now, to divide by 5 over 4 means multiplying by 4 over 5, then minus a quarter. So we can work out this part first, whereby we can talk about 5 and 5 cancelling, 3 and 6, making this one a 2, then by 2, 1, by 2, 5. So we can talk about 4 out of 5 minus 1 over 4. All right, that gives us 11 over 20. 11 out of 20. Then at that point now, because we have solved the numerator and also the denominator, we can now combine. This 1 and 3 over 10 means 13 over 10. We can make it an improper fraction. So we can now combine to come up with the answer 13 over 10 over 11 over 20, which translates to 13 over 10. Dividing by 11 over 20 means multiplying by 20 over 11. So this is supposed to be 26 out of 11. And 26 over 11 means 2 and 4 over 11. So the final answer, you can't leave it as an improper fraction. You must express as 2 and 4 over 11. So that becomes the final answer. Now look at number 2. A rectangular floor of a hall measures 6.08 meters by 3.68 meters. Now the floor is to be carpeted using square tiles, leaving a uniform margin of 1 out of 25 meters all round. Calculate the least number of tiles used. As we continue working out these kind of questions, I'd like to invite you to our program here, whereby if you are in secondary school, you can register with us so that you may undergo a very serious training from experts, mathematics and physics, then chemistry and biology. The program is running from the 14th of April to 25th of April, exactly 2 weeks, 4 subjects. Please enroll and get more connected, get impacted. Reach out through the number attached on this poster. Remember to invite your friends. Again, you can purchase your airtime through our program here, whereby you go to your M-Pesa, Lipa na M-Pesa, then the pay bill number is displayed here, 737356. The account number is your own phone number or the phone number that you're purchasing the airtime for. This can even be the phone number of a friend. Can be Airtel, Telcom, Safaricom, whichever line. Just use it at the account. Then proceed to enter the amount. Then complete the transaction and you shall receive the airtime instantly. So please utilize this facility and invite friends to the same. Thank you so much. Let's have a continuation now. Back to the paper. All right. Let me do this by sketching first. There is what we call diagram sketching, which is a very wonderful skill, such that when used, it really simplifies some of the concepts. So this concept will be made so easy by having it sketched, the diagram. So there is a rectangular floor here, which is supposed to be carpeted, and the carpeting will be done using some tiles, which are square in nature. So now, as we carpet the floor, we shall be leaving a margin all around, equivalent to 1/2 of a meter, 1 divided by 2/5 of a meter, which is 0.04. Therefore, the outer length is measuring 6.08 meters. But now we shall subtract from this side and also from this side 0.04 meters. 0.04 meters, which means the inner length now shall be 6.08, and we subtract 0.04, 0.04, and we get exactly 6. So the inner room is measuring, or the inner part, which will be tiled, shall be measuring exactly 6. Then on the width side, the outer width is 3.68 meters. So we have to subtract the margin of 0.04, and also on the other side 0.04, meaning that the inner width, which is going to be tiled, shall be 3.68 minus 0.08. That will be 3.6 meters. Therefore, the area that shall be covered by the tiles is measuring exactly 6 meters by 3.6 meters. It's again advisable for people to convert these units maybe to centimeters, both of them, so that we do away with decimals. Like the room is now measuring 600 meters, 600 centimeters by 360 centimeters, you see? So now when we use centimeters, then you will discover that the units now of the rectangular floor are now in whole numbers. We have not changed the values, we've just converted to reasonable values, which can make our working easier. Now we have to find the LCM of 600 and 360. Reason being, a tile is, okay, GCD means, let me write for you, GCD, then there is LCM. You know, people will be stranded. Are we looking for LCM? Are we looking for GCD? GCD means greatest common divisor. Therefore, the tiles can divide this room. So the tile is a divisor of the room. The area of the tile is a portion, is a divisor of the area of the room. But the LCM is a multiple, least common multiple. So we are not looking for a multiple. We are looking for a divisor, a portion of what we are having. So we have to go for the GCD. We have to go for the GCD way. Actually, I have to put this statement across. And it's one of the statements that we've made very clear in my book. You can make plans to purchase one. We argue this. In case you are provided with the dimensions of a rectangular room, for you to find the measurement of a square tile, you are supposed to find the GCD, because the square tile is a divisor. It is a factor of the room. In case you are given dimensions of a rectangular tile, to find a square room, which is supposed to be tiled, then you're supposed to find the LCM, simply because the room is a multiple of the tiles. I wish you understand that statement. But to get more of this, please make plans of purchasing our mathematics revision book, which is really going to help you people. Okay, the GCD now. 600, 360. Ensure you guys are subscribing. Ensure that you are inviting a friend from wherever, just to bring a friend on board for us to go together. So we have to express now these ones into prime factors, which are going to be common throughout. So we can begin by 2. Huh? By 2, I'm going to get 300, 180. So I can go by 2 again for 150 and 90. So that means 2 can still proceed to give us 75 and 45. Then at this level now, 2 cannot continue dividing, but I can see 3 can, to give us 25 and 15. Now 3 cannot divide both of them again because 25 is in the multiple of 3, but 5 can divide both, such that we're getting 5 and 3. So now the GCD is going to be, 2 power 3 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 5. So this will be 8 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 5, giving us 120. Yeah. Yeah, 120 centimeters. Therefore, now the square tiles that we are going to use, remember we are calculating the number of square tiles, the number of square tiles. Therefore, if we have the dimension of the square tile now, we should know that the square tile measures 120 by 120. What about the room? 600 by 360. So number of tiles shall be given by area of the room to be covered divided by area of one tile. So that you may know the number of tiles to fit. This is giving me exactly 15 tiles. Yeah, 15 tiles are going to cover the room. 15 tiles that way. Okay, you can also get the same number of tiles, which is 15 tiles, when you talk about along the length here, where we are having 600, and the length of a tile is 120. So 5 of them shall fit along the length. Then along the width, whereby we are having 360, we need to divide by 120 so that you get 3 of them. So 3 shall be fitting along the width, and 5 of them along the length. Therefore, when we multiply 3 and 5, we shall get 15. That is a simple tactic of counting a number of tiles. In case they lie of them 5, then here they lie 3 of them. You just need to multiply the ones on the length, the ones on the width, for you to get the total number. So you can alternatively work it out that way. Okay, we are at number 3. simplify the expression 6ax minus 3ay minus 4bx plus 2by, everything divided by 8ay plus 2by minus 16ax minus 4bx. So let's factorize this. From the numerator, we can do the numerator first. So in the numerator, we need to pick what is common from the first two. From the first two terms, I discover 3a is common. So when I factor out 3a, then in the brackets, I shall remain with 2x minus y. That way. Then in the other two terms, what is going to be common here? I see 2b is common. 2b is both in the first term and also in the second. So negative 2b is common. So that in the brackets, we remain with 2x minus y that way. So now to finish up with the factorization in the numerator, we can pick the common term inside the brackets, 2x minus y. Then outside the brackets, we have 3a negative 2b. That way. So the numerator is fully factorized. Let's get to the denominator. Let's get to the denominator. So from the denominator, we are having a 8ay and 2by. So what is common there? I think 2y. Yeah, 2y is common. So that we're remaining with 4a plus 4a plus 4a plus b. Yeah, 4a plus b, because you factored out 2y. Then in the second bracket, what is common? It's going to be negative 4x. Then from the first term, we shall remain with 4a, then plus b. Yeah, 4a plus b. That way. Now, to fully factorize the denominator, we have to pick what is common in the brackets. Then outside the brackets, we're having 2y, negative 4x. That way. So with this, we can continue seeing whether there is more that can be factorized. That is after combining. So let's combine the terms first, then we see whether we can do further factorization. So we are having 2x minus y, 3a minus 2b out of, from the denominator. Allow me begin with the second factor here, whereby it is a 2 can be factored. 2 can be factored out. We remain with y minus 2x. Then we are having 4a plus b that way. Now from the denominator, we see that in case negative 1 is factored out from the first factor, so that we have 2x minus y, 3a minus 2b, then this is out of. We factor out a negative 1, so that here y becomes negative and 2x becomes positive. So we can rearrange them that way. Yeah, that way. So now this means something can simplify out this way. So we can have the negative, because the negative cannot remain in the in the denominator, it's a negative 2. Then we have 4a plus b. So we cannot have a negative in the denominator. We can take it up there such that it is the numerator now. Okay, the whole value will bear a negative because we are dividing with a negative. So we can have an interchange of 2b becoming positive, but 3a negative. Then this now will be divided by 2 into 4a plus b that way. So this one is now fully factorized. We can't factorize further. It's now fully factorized. Look at number 4. An agent sold 5 plots for 250,000 Kenya shillings each. She charged a commission of 5% for the sale and paid 15% of the commission to our workers. So we're supposed to get the commission that she got from the sale of the plots. You know, she's going to get a commission of 5% for selling 250 each plot, and there are 5 plots. So the commission that she is going to get is 625.00. Then now from this commission, you know, she got a commission from selling. Then she's having some workers, or maybe they look for clients together and all that. Let me simplify the language for you. When you sell land, you usually get commission according to the deal this woman is in. So she's going to sell plots at 250 each. And from this, she's going to get commission of 5% for the sale. That is why she has received 662,500 Kenya shillings from all the plots sold. Then from this amount now, she is going to appreciate the co-workers now, some workers that they operate together in the deals. And she's also going to appreciate them in terms of commission. But for a turn now to give out commission, she's giving 15% to the workers. So if she's giving percent to the workers, our question is not that 15%, but what she remained with, which is 85% of the commission she had received. This one now is going to remain because 15 has been given to the workers. 85% shall remain, and this is 53,125 Kenya shillings. So that is it. We are now at number 5. In number 5, the question says, the current ages of Nyikuri and Leon are in the ratio 2:3. By the way, Nation Nyikuri is the setter of this paper. So this is a guy who has used himself as an example in the learning points of this paper. So thank you so much, Mr. Nyikuri, for the good work that you're doing. All right. The ages of Lion and Libendi are in the ratio 4:3. In 4 years' time, the ratio of Nyikuri's age to Libendi's age will be 9:10. Now determine the current age of Nyikuri. Let's first combine these ratios and say we are having Nyikuri here, then there is Leon, then there is Libendi, whereby Libendi can use another letter like B, Libendi. Okay, now the first ratio of Nation Nyikuri to Leon is 2/3. Then the age of Leon to Libenti is 4:3. So we can first get a common ratio here. Let's get a common ratio. So here we are going to say that in the first position, we'll have 2 multiplied by 4, which is 8. Then 3 multiplied by 4, which is 12. And 3 by 3, which is 9. So the ratio of Nyikuri to Leon to Libenti is 8:12:9. Then now there is more instructions now. We are saying that in 4 years' time, the ratio of Nyikuri to Libenti will be 9:10. So we know that currently Nyikuri to Libenti is 8:9. That is what you know. Then if we assume that current ages, if we assume that their current age of Nyikuri and Libenti are X and Y respectively, then we shall say X over Y equals to 8/9. That is 1. Then in 4 years' time, it means this one will have added 4, and the other one, which is also Y, will also have added 4. And the new ratio is becoming Nyikuri to Libenti 9:10. 9:10. So this we can call as the first expression, the second expression. And solving this now, we will be in a position to find the current age of Nyikuri, which is the value of X. So from the first expression, we can say that 9X is equivalent to 8Y, or simply X equals to 8/9Y. That way. Then from the second expression, after cross multiplication, 10X plus 40 equals to 9Y plus 36. Yeah, that way. So with this now, we can group terms and say 10X minus 9Y equals to 36. We have to talk about 36 minus 40, which is a -4. All right. Now that we expressed, from the first expression, we expressed X. Now we can substitute it in the second, whereby instead of X, we can talk of 8/9Y minus 9Y equals to -4. Therefore, 80/9 minus 9 is giving us -1/9Y equals to -4. If this is so, then to remain with Y, we have to multiply by 9 through, because the negatives will first cancel. Then to remain with Y, we multiply by 9 through. So Y equals to 36. That is the age of, according to what we had let, this will be the age of Libenti currently. So that means Nyikuri, who is X, shall be given by, Nyikuri, who is X, shall be given by, at this point, 8/9, value of Y, which is 36. You know, this is by 9/1 by 9/4. So Nyikuri's age, which is X, shall be 32 years of age. Yeah, 32 years of age. Actually, these questions require a lot of analysis and a lot of understanding from whatever a student is doing. So please make sure you master what you are doing. All right. Number 6. Number 6 is a very interesting question. In the figure below, PQRSTU is a regular polygon X, and AP, Q, and B are 4 of the vertices of another regular polygon Y. Another regular polygon Y. So there is another regular polygon Y. So we are supposed to really understand what is happening here. We have another, this is X. What we are having here is X. Then there is another regular polygon, which seems to be greater than okay, having more sides than X, which we are calling Y. Now, some of the vertices of Y are A, P, Q, B. A, P, Q, B, that way. So now we're supposed to know this, that for the polygon X, whereby the sides can be determined, this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 sides. We can know this, the sum of interior angles, and hence we can calculate each interior angle. So for X, for polygon X, which has been fully drawn, the sum of interior angles shall be 180 X minus 2, which is giving us a, let me count it, which is giving us 180 by 4, giving us 720. So with 720, then each interior angle for X shall be 720 out of 6 of them, and we get 120. So each interior angle here is 120, 120, 120, 120, 120, 120, that way. That's why they are totaling to 720. Then, now that there is a way, the other polygon, which is Y, can be linked to polygon X, then we can say that the interior angle of X, interior angle of Y is now the bigger one now. The 24, the portion of 24 plus the 120, which is the complete angle of X. So interior angle of Y shall be 24 plus 120, giving us 144. Now with this now, we should be in a position to know, okay, what are we finding first? Calculate the sum of interior angles. Sum of interior angles. So for us to get the sum, we're supposed to know the number of sides. So that means exterior will be 120 minus 144, giving us 36 degrees, because interior plus exterior should be 360. Yeah, 360. Therefore, the exterior angle of polygon Y is 36. And we know that for us to get the number of sides, we need 360 out of exterior angle. So 360 out of 36 will give us 10 sides. Now that we have 10 sides, now that we are having 10 sides, then we're supposed to talk about the sum now. We have already known the number of sides, so we can talk about the sum of interior angles, which is given by 180 into 10 minus 2, because the sum is having a general formula of 180 into n minus 2. N is the number of sides. Therefore, 180 multiplied by 8 should give us 1440. degrees. Yeah, 1440 degrees that way. So that is it. 1440 degrees. Okay, there is a number 7 here. And guys, remember to invite friends kindly to this platform. Remember to invite people. Remember to subscribe. Remember to share. The people are really going to learn a lot of the challenging questions are made easy in shifting grades. Given that 2 raised to the power of x plus y multiplied by 3 raised to the power of x plus 2y equals to 3,888. Find the values of x and y. So the main thing that we're going to do here is to express the composite number here, which is 3888, into prime factors. And hopefully, the prime factors that we're going to get will be 2 and 3, because they are the ones used on the left-hand side. So let's see, when 3,888 is expressed in terms of its prime factors, what do we get? Therefore, we can express 3,888. It is even, so we can begin by 2, 1944. By 2 once again, 972. Then by 2 again, 486. That means we can go by 2 again to give us a 2, 4, 3. Then now 2, 4, 3 can be divided by 3 to give us 81. By 3 to give us a 27. By 3 to give us 9. And by 3 to give us 3. So we are fully with the factorization process. In other words, 3888 is becoming 2 raised to 1, 2, 3, 4. Then 3 raised to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we say the equation now can be written as 2 raised to x plus y multiplied by 3 raised to x plus 2y. This is the same as 2 raised to power 4 and 3 raised to power 5 that way. So now we can equate corresponding powers. So the powers of 2 here and the powers of 2 here, x plus y is equivalent to 4, this one equation. Then again, x plus 2y is equivalent to 5. This is equation 2. We can solve simultaneously. Allow me prefer what we call the elimination method, simply because I'm rushing for elimination because the coefficients of x in both equation is 1. So coefficient of x in equation 1 is 1, and in equation 2 is also 1. Therefore, we can subtract directly corresponding terms. X minus x becomes 0. Y minus 2y becomes negative y. Then 4 minus 5 becomes negative 1. That can mean the value of y is 1. If the value of y is already 1, the value of x can be found by substituting y in any of the equations. And we can prefer substituting y in equation 1, such that x plus y, which is 1, equals to 4. So x equals to 3 when 1 is subtracted from this side. So we have x, we have y. So that is it. Well, number 8 now. A Kenyan bank bought and sold foreign currencies on 2 different days, as shown below. So we have the buying of sterling pounds and the buying of South African rand. Then we are told there's a businessman arrived in Kenya on 28th of December 2024 with 50,000 sterling pounds. Then he changed the whole amount to Kenya shillings at a commission of 5%. While in Kenya, he spent 70% of the money and changed the balance to South African rands before leaving to South Africa on 29th of December 2024. If he was not charged commission for the last transaction, determine to the nearest South African rand the amount he obtained at the bank for him to go to South Africa. All right. When a foreigner is coming to Kenya, we cannot trade using the sterling pound. So he has to convert the amount to Kenyan shillings. Now, the Kenyan bank, this is a Kenyan bank. We did another interesting question, which was talking about a bank in China. So the Kenyan bank is buying and selling foreign currencies. When you come from another country, the Kenyan bank is going to buy the foreign currency from you. So the Kenyan bank buys 1 sterling pound at 130.1, and you're having 50,000 of them. This businessman is having 50,000 of them. So how much Kenyan shillings will he receive when the Kenyan bank buys the sterling pounds from him? Therefore, it will be 50,000 multiplied by 130.10, so that you get the Kenyan shillings he received. And remember, he is exchanging it at commission. So because he'll be charged as a commission at the bank, by the way, let me mention this. This businessman will not receive the whole amount. He is only going to receive 97 or 95. Because of the 5% commission at the bank, you will receive 100 minus 5, which is 95% of this. So we shall have 50,000 multiplied by 130.1 multiplied by 95 expressed as a percentage. This is going to be 6,179,750 Kenya shillings. That is the amount he's going to receive. Now, while in Kenya, he spent 70% of the money and changed the balance to South African rand. Therefore, we're supposed to get the balance. Now, to reduce a lot of workings, instead of getting the 70% used, then we start subtracting. We can talk about the 30% that remained so that we get the answer direct. So 30% remained, 6,179,750. So the Kenya shillings that remained is going to be, so we talk about 30% of this, so which is going to be 1,853,925 Kenya shillings. This is the amount the businessman remained with, still in Kenya. But now he has to travel to South Africa, whereby he's going to convert all these amounts to South African rand. Now, when you go to the bank demanding foreign currency, the bank sells to you that particular foreign currency. Now, the bank is selling 1 South African rand at 9.58. So if the bank is selling at 9.58 Kenya shillings and you are having 1853,925 Kenya shillings, how much South African rand will you be able to purchase? So we will take the amount that you have and we divide it by the selling price of 1 South African rand so that we know how many South African rand will you be in a position to purchase. So we divide this by 9.58, giving us 193,520. We have been told to the nearest South African rand. So South African rand to the nearest South African rand. That is the amount the businessman is going to receive from the bank. All right, it's good for you to note something, that there is this acronym which aids learners. The learners who cannot interpret, actually, they can bank on this acronym, whereby we talk about KFOSE, then for KEBU. For For Kebu, we multiply. For Se, we divide. So for Kebu means foreign currency to Kenyan currency. We use the buying column and we multiply. For Kenyan currency to foreign currency, we use the selling column and we divide. So you can apply those acronyms accordingly. Let's look at number 9. A point P, -41, and Q, -2, -2, are mapped onto P prime 211 and Q prime 82 by an enlargement. Find the scale factor of the enlargement. So for us to get the scale factor of this particular enlargement, we're supposed to pick, let's say there was a line PQ which got enlarged to become P prime Q prime. Then we look at the factor multiplying. What multiplies the length of PQ to give us P prime Q prime? What is that? So we can say the length of the first vector, we treat them now as vectors. PQ, we need -2 minus -4. Then for the x, that is for the x, and for the y, -2 minus 1. This is a vector which can be multiplied by a certain scale to give us the other vector, which is P Q prime. So we need to talk about 8 minus 11, 8 minus 2, sorry. Then 8 minus 2 and 2 minus 11. 2 minus 11. So S, which is the scale factor, should multiply. This one is a 2 minus -4 becomes +4. So 2. Then -1 becomes -3. This is a 6. This is negative. I think we did an error there. We talked about 8 minus 2 and 2 minus 11. 2 minus 11 that way. So 6 and a -9 that way. So when we use the x components, we can say 2s equals to, you can say 2s equals to 6. So s equals to 3. And also from the y components, -3s equals to -9, such that if you divide through by -3, then you will get +3. Therefore, the scale factor is confirming to be +3. That is the scale factor of the enlargement. I must mention this because at times the question can tell you calculate both the scale factor of the enlargement and also the center of the enlargement. So to find the center of the enlargement, you really have to be very sharp. And you need to say this, that we are having a coordinate here, which is the center. And we have already known that the scale factor is positive. Therefore, we can say this. Let me use some lines. Let me sketch some line here and another one here. So we can say this. That's the center. Then we are having P here, which is a -4, 1. Remember, I'm doing a question which has not been asked here. Then P prime should be along the same line and is a 211. Then we talk about Q, which is -2, -2, and Q prime along the same line, which is 8, 2. Now, we can use several concepts here to find the coordinate of the center. One, we can tell ourselves that there is a line which is called PP prime. that line is meeting another line, QQ prime, at XY. So we've used the concept of straight lines, then we calculate what we call the point of intersection. That is one concept. Again, we can tell ourselves that the distance from a P to the center, from P to the center, or from the center to P, the distance from the center to P, which is a x minus -4, then y minus 1. This distance, when multiplied by 3, it should give us the distance from the same center to where P prime is, which will be x minus 2 and y minus 11. That way. So using this, I think we can get the center very quickly and say 3x, using the x component now, plus 12 equals to x minus 2. So to get x, we can have 2x here. Then to the right-hand side, we shall have a -14. So that the value of x becomes -7. Then for us to get y, we use the y components and say 3y minus 3 equals to y minus 11. So grouping terms together, 2y shall be equal to the negative. Okay, let me check here. Y minus 11 and y minus 1. Okay, so this -3. When we add 3 to the other side, it shall be -11 plus 3, giving us -8. So the value of y shall be -4. And the center is proven to be -7, -4, that way. So that is the center of the particular enlargement. We can also use Q, that's another option, and apply the same approach, or the concept of equations of straight lines, which is going to be a little bit longer. That's why I have not used it, but I have explained that it is a concept that can be used. For you to use line P prime, we have to find its gradient, then express the equation. Then we go to line Q prime. We also find gradient and express the equation. Then now the equation of P prime and the equation of Q prime are solved simultaneously. That way, you will also get x and y, then express it as a center. So this is the center of the enlargement, but the scale factor of the enlargement has already been calculated as 3. Now look at number 10. Look at number 10, whereby we are told that a fruit vendor bought 120 bananas at 6 each. He found that 3 bananas were bad. Then he sold some of the remaining bananas at 50 for every 6, and the rest at 20 for every 3, and realized a 25% profit. Find the number of bananas that he sold at 20 for every 3. Okay, we're supposed to analyze this question very keenly because 3 bananas were found bad. That is something we're supposed to know. 3 bananas were found bad. Therefore, if that is so, you can say remaining bananas are, and this is 117 bananas. So we'll be selling 17 bananas in groups of 3 and also in groups of 6. Okay. So now, can we get the buying price of these bananas, which is 120 bananas at 6 each? So 120 multiplied by 6 each, we're getting a buying price of 720 Kenya shillings. Then we can also say the selling price, now that this business lady, okay, it's a businessman, sorry, he bought. The businessman is realizing a profit of 25%. That means the total selling price is 125% of the initial buying price. This is giving us exactly 900. So at the end of the day, he sold at 900 everything. Now, how did he realize 900? He realized 900. So 900 is gotten from, he sold the remaining ones at 50 for every 6. So in groups of 6, so we can have 50 multiplied by x fruits, but x fruits have been grouped into 3. X groups have been grouped into 6. So we pick x bananas and we group them into groups of 6. Then we sell them at 50. Then others are sold at 20. And remember, now it is the balance now, because we have sold x of them, grouping them into 6. Then the ones to be grouped into 3 are going to be the ones to be grouped into 3. Okay, at this we'll get x. But now I think, because what we are finding according to the demand statement, we need the ones which were sold at 3. Then that is what we're supposed to be let to be x. So let me reduce a lot of working by giving the unknown x to what we need to calculate. So 20 shillings times a group of bananas, which have been divided into groups of 3. Then another group, which is remaining now, will be sold at 50. And how many are they? The remaining 117 minus the x, which have been which has been sold at 20. But now these ones, which are the remaining now, are being grouped into 6 that way. They're being grouped into 6. Yeah, such a thing. So now from this, we can find the value of x in this manner. 9,000 equals to 20x over 3 plus, when we multiply 50 by 117, we will get 5850 over 6 minus 50x over 6. Now we can group terms. 20 over 3 minus 50 over 6. This is giving me -1 and 2/3, whereby the -1 and 2/3 can be taken to the left-hand side and becomes positive. So 1 and 2/3 x, it becomes positive on the right-hand side. I think that one should be noted. 20 over 3x minus 50 over 6x, we are getting a -1 and 2/3. So taking it to the left, it shall become positive. Then now we bring 5850 over 6 minus 900. This one now is becoming 75. Yeah, exactly 75. If that is becoming 75, then we get the value of x by dividing through by, remember, on the left-hand side, we are having a 1 and 2/3, which is equivalent to 5 over 3. So to remain with x, with the 5 over 3, we multiply by 3 over 5. So multiplying by 3 over 5, x becomes 45. So the number of fruits which were sold at 20 shillings for every 3 are only 45. Yeah, they are only 45. So we find the value of x in such a way. Number 11. In the figure below, PQ is parallel to RS, just as you can see. Then the angle ABC equals to 65 degrees, and the other angle BAP equals to 140, just as you can see from the diagram. Then giving reasons, find CDR, the angle CDR, the angle at this point. So according to the diagram, this being a straight line, then we can find 40. Then after finding 40, we can also find the angle at this point. It's 40 because angles along a straight line must add up to 180, and already we are having 140. Therefore, the other side becomes 40. Then we should talk about the angle at C, which is a BCA. The angle BCA, this one is supposed to be 180 minus, when we take 65 and we add 40, 65 and we add 40, so 180 minus 65 and 40 added, we are getting 75. 75. Reason being, angles in a triangle, they are supposed to add up to 180. Then now, after getting the value as 75, now we can find the other angle very conveniently. The angle CDR can be found very easily, because now CDR is going to be equal to CDR is going to be equal to the same as what we have found up there, BCA, which is 75 degrees. These ones are called corresponding angles. So corresponding angles are usually equal. So this is also going to be 75. They are in corresponding positions because RS is parallel to PQ. Therefore, we treat BD as a transversal, and the angles in those positions will be called corresponding angles, and corresponding angles are usually equal. We can follow even other alternative approaches and say, for instance, with 75, then on the other side, we also have 75. Reason being, we call them vertically opposite angles, which are equal. Then after that, the angle at C and the angle at D here are said to be alternate. So the angle at C is alternate to the angle at D, and it shall be 75. Alternate angles are usually equal. Again, we can say that BD is a straight line. So with 75, the angle at this point is 105 degrees. Now with 105, we can say that the angle here, 105, together with the angle here, are said to be co-interior, and co-interior angles are usually supplementary. They add up to 180. So 105 plus the unknown angle on the other side must give us 180, meaning that the remaining angle is 75. So we can use several approaches and we get the same answer. So it's good for you to understand the angles. Again, to get them more, you can also inquire from our revision book, which can be bought conveniently from any point in Kenya. Just make inquiries through our contact number here, 0704153366, that way. Look at number 12, which is on similarities and enlargements. Two similar metal bars are made of the same material. Then if the area of the bars are 64 square centimeters and 144 square centimeters respectively, find the mass of the larger bar if the smaller is 320 grams. What we're supposed to know here is that there are ratios which relate quantities or dimensions and measurements. Now, if dimensions are in one, if measurements are in one dimension, they are related using what we call the linear scale factor. If dimensions, if a measurement is in two dimensions, we relate them using the area scale factor. But if a certain quantity is in three dimensions, we relate them using what we call the volume scale factor. Now, for area scale factor, we are learning, so I must not just rush to solve this question, but to elaborate even for future evaluations. Area scale factor relates area. It also relates when you hear base area, when you hear surface area, things to do with cross-section area, any form of area, cross-section area. Area scale factor also relates curved surface area, and such. So all things to do with area, they are related using the area scale factor. Then we have linear scale factor, which is related using what we call linear scale factor is a ratio that relates all measurements in one dimension. And those can be lengths. At length can be very broad. We can have radius is a length, diameter is a length, height is in one dimension. We can talk about width, which is in one dimension. All of them. Circumference is in one dimension. So circumference, this goes together with perimeter. They are all in one dimension. So a lot of measurements in one dimension, or all measurements in one dimension, are related using the linear scale factor. Now look at this. Volume scale factor. Volume scale factor relates three-dimensional quantities, such as volume itself, mass, capacity, density. Yeah, so mass is usually in three-dimension entities related using the volume scale factor. So from what has been provided in this equation now, in this question, is two areas. Two areas. 64 and 144. Therefore, what we can get is area scale factor, which is going to be 64 over 144. Now, with area scale factor, for us to get linear scale factor, we should obtain the square root of area scale factor. So the square root is going to be 8 over 12. And you see it can be simplified further by 4, 2, by 4, 3. So the linear scale factor can be 2/3. That's what I want you to know. It can be 2/3. Now, if it is 2/3, then we can say that we can now go to, because we are talking about mass, which is a three-dimensional quantity, then volume scale factor is usually gotten by linear scale factor raised to power 3, which is 8 over 27. Yeah, 8 out of 27. That is the volume scale factor. Now, this is volume of the smaller over volume of the larger. Which volume has been provided? Volume of the larger. We are finding volume of the larger when that of the smaller is 320. So 8 over 27 will be given by volume of the smaller, 320, volume of the larger, unknown. It's what we are finding. So 8x equals to 27 by 320. So to find the value of x now, we need to work out 1080 grams. 1080 grams. that way. Then now we can talk about number 13. Kano's clock loses 18 seconds every hour. She sets the correct time on the clock at 0800 hours on Tuesday. Determine the time shown on the clock when the correct time was 2000 hours on Thursday, the same week. So we're supposed to check the time. How many hours are between 8 on Tuesday and Thursday, 2000? So from Tuesday, 800, all the way to Wednesday, 800, we have 24 hours there. Then from Wednesday, all the way to Thursday, this is 800, 800. We have another 24 hours. But now from Thursday to the same Thursday, but 2000 hours, there are 12 hours added here. So at the end of the day, between Tuesday, 8 a.m. all the way to Thursday, 2000 hours, there are total time or total hours are going to be, when we add all these, 48 plus 12, we have 60 hours. So what is the total time lost? In every 1 hour, this clock is losing 18 seconds. So we will talk about 6 hours. Each hour, we are losing 18 seconds. So 60 by 18, this is giving 1080. 1080 seconds. So we can take 1080 and we divide by 60 to get minutes. And this is giving us 18. So by the time we are on that day, 2000, this clock will have lost a total of 18 minutes. So what will be the time? What will be the reading time now? 2000, 18. We subtract. It has lost time, remember? So 60 minus 18, because we have 00 on the minutes time. So we carry 1 hour, which is equivalent to 60 minutes. So 60 minutes minus 18 minutes, we get 42 minutes. 42 minutes. Then now we have 20 where we have subtracted 1 hour. So this is 19. Yeah, 19, sorry, 19. So we can write the time as 19:42 hours or 7:42 p.m. on Thursday, the same day. So that is the time it will be reading. You must be in a position to evaluate that question in such a way. Look at number 14 now. In the figure below, the lines AB and CD are parallel. Then now we can say EB equals to 9, just as indicated. Then CD equals to 16. Then we are given some equal lengths here. CE and AB. CE and AB are equal. So if this is X, this is also X. Okay, calculate the length of CB. The length of CB, which is not known. So in this case now, I want us to relate a few things. And actually, we're going to apply what we call the, again, similarities and enlargements. So because this is a common point, and these are CD is parallel to AD, then we can see triangle ABE and CED are similar triangles. Now that they are similar, we can equate corresponding lengths. When enlarged, you should be able to know that if it is CE, it translates to EB. If it is ED, it will translate to EE. And definitely CD translates to AB that way. Therefore, when we take the ratio, of CD and we divide by AB, we should get the same as when we take the ratio of CE and we divide by EB. We divide by EB. Sorry, we divide by EB. We get the same. I hope we are together in that. I hope we are together in that relation. So when we take 16 and we divide by x unknown, 16 over x, we will get the same as CE. CE is also x because we said they are equal according to the instructions. Divide by EB. EB equals to 9. That way. So across multiplication will give us 16 by 9, which is equal to x squared. And for us to get the value of x, now we need to take the square root of 16 by 9, which is going to be 4 by 3. 4 by 3, which is 12. So 12 is the length of CE or AB. So 12. With that, we can also talk about the total length now of CB. That is not 12, is not CB. So CB shall be 12 plus 9, giving us 21 centimeters. That is the total length. Yeah, 21 centimeters that way. Look at number 15, the use of tables. The use of tables. We are told that use tables of squares, square roots, cubes, and reciprocals to evaluate the square root of 426.8 plus 4 out of the cube of 0.2368. So we are going to use all these tables to work out. Let's work out the first number here, the square root of 426. 426 can be written in standard form as 4.268 times 10 power 2. So we are obtaining the square root now of this. This one will be obtained from the tables. So we are talking about the square root of 4.268. So we go to the tables and read the square root of 4.268. So the square root tables. These are cubes. Their square roots are here. So we're going to 4.2. So 4.2, then 68. So 4.2, this is the row. 4.2, that is the row that has 4.2. Then we go to the column that has 6. So the column that has 6 is going to be here. The column that has 6. The column that has 6 is going to be this one. Sorry. Let me Let me zoom the math table so that you may see exactly what is happening. Yeah. So for the square roots, we're talking about 4.2, 4.2. Here is the row. 4.2. Then the column that has 6. The column that has 6 is here. Is the column that has 6. So what we are reading first is the point at this junction now. But when you look at the numbers very well, we are beginning with 2 point. So 2.0640. 2.0640. 2.0640. Then we shall add on the difference side, we go where there is 8. So where there is 8, where there is 8, 8 is here. We see what shall intersect with the same row. So what intersects in this row is 1, 9. So we'll be adding 1, 9 at the end here. So this is 5, 9, 6, 0. So 2.0659. But remember, this one will be done using the laws of indices, whereby square root means power half. Square root means power half. So that will be 10 power 1. And the final answer for this shall be 20.659. Yeah, 659. That way. Then after that, we have done the first number and we are sorted that way. Then we go to the second side, whereby there is plus 4, and we divide it by the cube of 0.2368. So we need to get the cube of this. So we are first writing it in standard form as 2.368 times 10 to the power of -1. Then we raise this one to power 3. Raising this one to power 3, the index side, applying the product law of indices, shall become times 10 power 3. But on this part, we have to read it from the tables now. So to read it from the tables, we're supposed to read the 2.3, then 68. So let's check that. 2.368 for the cubes. So we are cubing we are cubing 2.3. We're cubing 2.368. So 2.3 then 68. So the column that has 6 is here. So what are we getting there? 13.144. 13.144. Then we'll be adding at the difference column, we add what is on 8. So where is 8? 8 is here. So I'm getting 132. So 132 at this point, 672.13. Then remember there is times 10 to the power of -3. So that is it. We can even write it in standard form further and say this one becomes 1.3276 times 10 to the power of -2. Yeah, that way. So that is the after applying the cubes now. Then finally, we have to apply the reciprocal table. The reciprocal table now means we are taking the square root, which is known 20.659 plus 4 into the reciprocal of 1 point. Remember, it should be 4 SF because we are talking of the 4-figure table times 10 power negative 2 that way. So it's a 4-figure table. We cannot read 5 significant figures. So we round it off to 4 SF. Therefore, this will be 20.659 plus 4 multiplied by the reciprocal of 1.328. This one will be read from the table, but the reciprocal of 10 to the power of negative 2 becomes 10 power 2. We just reverse the sign on the power for us to get the reciprocal of 10. So we are talking of reciprocals now. For reciprocals, we need 1.3. Yeah, 1.3, then 28. So 1.3, then 28, 1.3, that is the row we are dealing with. 1.3, then 2, here. So 0.7576. 0.7576. Let me work it out here. 0.7576. Then we subtract on the difference side. There is subtraction when we talk about reciprocal tables. That's 8, which is a 4. This one will be subtracted. So we'll be talking about now 2157. So 0.7512. 0.7512. 0.7512 that way. So this one has been read from the table. This one has been reversed. We just get the reciprocal by changing the sign of the power at that point. So we'll be talking about now 20.659 plus. So when we take 4 multiplied by 0.7512 multiplied by 10 power 2, we're getting 300.48. Then when we add 20.659, we'll get 321.139. Yeah, 321.139. That way. Now, the last question in section 1, we are talking of a complete the figure below to show a rotational symmetry of order 3 about the point which has been indicated O. So if the order is 3, then we are supposed to take the total angle of rotation divided by 3, get 120. So we'll be doing a rotation through 120. Therefore, we should rotate this figure through 120. We join this one to the center. We also join this part to the center. We also join this other tip to the center. And we measure angles of 120. We can either, for 120, we can either measure or even construct, because it's among the special angles which can be done without even a protractor. So we measure 120 with the center O. We measure 120. like at this point. Then after that, we are going to measure an equal distance. So from O to this, to where the point is, we measure the distance so that we may transfer it to the other side. Or the distance, instead of being measured, we can transfer it using a compass. So that is where we'll get that point. Then we do the same for the second one. We measure 120. Measure 120. So the other one will also be brought to an equal distance through 120. That way. Then the middle one through 120. We also measure 120. That way. So that is how we do it. Then we repeat the same for another 120. So we measure 120 again. So from that point, we measure 120 once again. That's where we will be. We do an equal distance. We also measure 120 again for the other part. Where we shall be. So that is it. You can now finish up by drawing the full figure and using all the distances as they are. So that distance, this distance, then a longer distance through the center. That way. So now we have rotated through a rotational symmetry of 3, order 3, whereby you divide 360 by 3. In case you had been told order 4, you would have divided 360 by 4. Order 5, 360 by 5, that way. So that is it. We'll be meeting later for the section 2 of this. But so far, so good. Thank you so much for turning up. See you next time. Remember our programs where you can purchase airtime. Remember our programs where you can get more tuitions through 07 04 15 33 66. So please reach out. God bless you. Thank you so much.